And you just see Marshall come out of nowhere and just slaps Barney. And you're like, oh, shoot. He just cashed in one of his bets. So that's kind of the running joke. So Marshall really
capitalizes on
he
that.
capitalized
he goes
that.
to town
He goes
on Barney's face.
in on that joke. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Show Express podcast. I'm Dio.
And I'm Sade.
And today we're going to be talking about a legendary show called How I Met Your Mother. Mm-hmm. You can catch it on Hulu and on occasional times on Netflix. Okay. Don't forget to follow us, rate us, and share. Okay, Sade, give us a quick synopsis of the show.
Okay, this is one of those shows that we tag light watches because it has a mellow and easy to follow plot that are perfect for late night watches, like Netflix and chill things. The plot follows the life of Ted Mosby and his friends and sometimes roommates in New York City, leading up to how he met the love of his life and the mother of his children, hence the title, How I Met Your Mother. So the storyline is his narration of the shenanigans and entanglements that transpired during that time, and he was narrating this to his children, who, mind you, grew old just listening to the crazy tales. I kid you not.
That's how long the season is.
Yeah, see what I did there? I kid you not.
Nice one.
Apparently, the storyline is loosely based on the lives of the show creators, Craig Thompson and Carter Bays, when they lived in New York City. That's interesting. Fair warning though, guys. This is a long show. Really long. It has 208 episodes across 9 seasons.
Damn.
So you might celebrate a few birthdays watching this show.
That's right.
Anyway, when were you hooked on the show, Dio?
So I was hooked on the show right from the beginning, actually. It was, I can point to specific points that kind of stuck out, right? So starting with the Blue French Horn. Blue French Horn was introduced in the pilot episode. So like I said, from the very beginning. And it was introduced on Ted and Robin's first date. But it tends to come up typically during pivotal moments in their relationship. So times when Ted and Robin are on the fence, whether they're, they have a very interesting relationship with each other. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. And we tend to see the Blue French Horn come out at very interesting points of their relationship. Apart from the Blue French Horn, the show has a ton of catchphrases, and those phrases definitely got me hooked. So the first one is legendary. There's a guy named Barney. He's someone that always likes to party, and he'll come and say, hey, what's going on tonight? You guys should come out. Tonight is going to be legend, wait for it, dairy, right? So that's an example of different times where Barney uses the legendary catchphrase. Another catchphrase is by, what's his name? Marshall. And one of his, if you say something surprising, it's like, hey, come again for Big Fudge. It's like, he's a lawyer, so if you say something that's as incorrect, it's like, hey, come again for Big Fudge, or just different types of things like that. So I find myself saying it. It's like, hey, come again for Big Fudge? Are you serious? Another catchphrase by Barney is, hey, have you met Ted? That's his catchphrase for when he's trying to set Ted up on a date or something, or he's like, hey, Ted, you need to loosen up. It's like, all right, I'll introduce you to this girl. Random girl. He goes up to the random girl and say, hey, have you met Ted? So that's another catchphrase. And my favorite one, this is the last one. It's a inside joke between Ted and Robin. I call it the military rank jokes. So what they do is, if you say anything in a phrase that uses military names, right? Like captain, general, admiral, lieutenant, major, something like that, they'll take that out of the sentence and just salute you off of that statement. So you have a short clip of how that sounds so you guys could get a sense as to what they mean by that.
Everyone knows that. It's like general knowledge.
General knowledge? Countries actually still condone corporal punishment. Corporal punishment?
I got a kernel stuck in my teeth.
Colonel stuck in my teeth?
It's really a major buzzkill.
Major buzzkill?
This is going to be a major cleanup.
Major cleanup?
Oh,
Oh man, we're gonna be doing this all the time now, aren't we?
That's the general idea.
General idea?
Oh.
So you guys see even other people in the show start to get into the inside joke, I guess. It's more of an outside joke now. So, and the last hook point for me was the slap bet. So what is a slap bet? The slap bet was a running joke started with season 2, and it goes all across the entire show, right? All the way till the end, right? So what happens, right? It's between Marshall and Barney. Barney does something and he's like, all right, we can settle this with a slap bet. Marshall wins 5 slaps and he could dish it out to Barney at any point. And he doesn't have to give him any warning or anything like that. So if you were watching the show and you saw when that happened and you're watching like 2 seasons later and you just see Marshall come out of nowhere and just slaps Barney, and you're like, oh shoot, he just cashed in one of his bets. So that's kind of the running joke. So Marshall really
Capitalizes on that.
capitalized
Like,
that.
to town
He goes
on Barney's face.
in on that joke. So he's like, all right, we're gonna be having a holiday this year. It's gonna be called Slapsgiving. And Barney's like, what? It's like, what is Slapsgiving? It's like, it's a holiday where I slap, where I put my hands right in between your face. So you just see so many different times where Marshall just comes out of nowhere and just slaps Barney for no reason. Either he feels like he's doing something dumb, or it's just like, you deserve to get slapped right now. I'm gonna cash in one of my slap bets. So yeah, so many different jokes were made out off of that. Slapsgiving, Slapiversary, Slapathon, and much more. Yeah, as you can see, I was super enthusiastic about the show. I really liked it. So many different things that got me hooked. If that's not enough, Sade, why else do you think people should watch this show?
I'm glad you asked. First up, we always start with the ratings, right? So it has an 8.7 out of 10 on IMDb and
good.
85% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has 9 seasons out, averaging about 21 episodes each season. So we already warned you guys before that this is a very long watch. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the popcorn. And the last season aired in 2014. The show was nominated for 91 awards. Like,
Damn.
9-1. I don't think I've seen any other show who has been nominated for that many awards, you know?
Yeah.
And he won 21 of those awards, including an Emmy and a People's Choice Award for Favorite Network TV Comedy. Now, let's get into the main characters. This is the fun part. So the main character is Ted Mosby, played by Josh Radnor. He was an architect with this kind of like guy next door vibe, who always seemed to get the shorter end of the stick in love. Like, it's like he was destined to just be a sucker in love, you know what I'm saying? Besides being an actor, Josh is also a recording artist that has 2 albums under his belt. Who knew
In
that?
real life?
In real life, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't remember that in the show.
No, that's why I said Josh, like
Oh,
Josh
okay, got
Radnor,
it.
the
Josh.
character, yeah, the guy who
Wow,
played the
I
character.
can't even imagine him being an artist either.
Nah,
Like
I can't
in
either.
the show or in real life. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope. 2
I think-
albums.
Yep, he's,
Okay.
he's in a band and all that. We're not
Wow.
about to give them free plug, so there you have it. So we're gonna mention all the supporting characters in the show because, like, at some point in the show, I feel like every one of them took a life of their own and even had like several episodes about just their life. So yeah, they are all worth mentioning. The first person we have is Marshall.
Marshall.
This was played by Jason Segel, and he was a law student who dated and married Lily, played by Allison Hannigan, who was a kindergarten teacher. So they were college sweethearts who started dating in freshman year by some weird occurrence, and ended up getting married 9 years after.
So Lily, every time I see Lily, I always remember the funny movie American Pie. So that one time at band camp.
One time at band camp.
So that one time. So yeah, that's Lily. Definitely a lot older from that
Right.
movie, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same lady.
Right, the actress Allison Hannigan. You can catch her in American Pie, right? And all of these people were roommates with Ted Mosby at some point during the show. Another person we're going to mention is Barney, played by Neil Patrick Harris. Barney was a ladies' man who slept with everything and anything that had a pulse. literally. And he made fun of people in love while secretly wishing he had that kind of love. And he always had this mysterious job that no one could ever figure out.
Yeah, I don't know what Barney did.
I don't know what Barney
To
did.
tomorrow.
I don't know if he was like a hedge fund banker or...
Anytime you ask him, he's like,
Forget about that. Like, that's not even important. Like, no, it is. Are you a bank robber? Like, what are you, Barney? So last but not the least, we have Robin Schabotsky. So this was played by Kobe Smulders. So Robin is our resident Canadian baddie, you know.
oh, God.
Yeah. Okay. That's the funny part of the show. And she was Ted's forever love interest. So, was she the mother? I guess you have to find out. All right, Dio. So, what are similar shows that can get us laughing and giggling, like How I Met Your Mother?
All right. I mean, that's a tall order. There are other shows that try to meet the mark. Like we said, the show was so good, they even tried to spin it off. First, they started with a show called How I Met Your Dad. And that failed. It didn't even make it past the pilot episode. And then they tried another one called How I Met Your Father, right? Dad and then father. And that was starring Hilary Duff as a woman telling her son about how she met his father. And you know, while How I Met Your Mother happened in the early 2000s, How I Met Your Father was taking place in the year 2021. So you can imagine this is things like, you know, dating with dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, you know, getting ghosted, and all the different things that happens with dating in this time period, right? But what's interesting is she's coming from the perspective of like 2040 or like somewhere further down in the future, right? So that's a very good show. It's pretty new, and I think they're doing a good job of trying to keep the same theme and not being too corny. So it's pretty good. Another one is New Girl.
I think I can take this one. So,
Alright.
New Girl's about this quirky teacher named Jess Day, played by Zoe Deschanel. So, Zoe is one of my all-time favorite actresses. The first time I saw her was in this movie called 500 Days of Summer. Like, if you haven't watched the movie, it's a classic,
Yeah,
and
it's
you
a
should
good
watch
one.
it.
Yep.
Like, there's just so much to gain from that movie that, yeah, it's a good watch. So played by Zoe, and you know her character was named Jess Day. So she moved in with these three men living in LA, with one of them named Winnie the Bish.
Winnie the Bish, and that's a good foreshadowing to the next show we talk about, actually.
Right. It is. So his name was Winston Bishop, and you know they just coined out Winnie the Bish.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. So this show just follows their life around dealing with relationship issues, career choices, and everything in between. I think the next show you can take this one.
Yeah, Woke, right? So I said Winnie the Bish is by Lamorne Morris, I believe is his name. And he's the one starring in this next show called Woke. The show's called Woke, and is inspired by a real life story from an artist named Keith Knight. But the main character is called Keith Knight, right? I know, right? But oh wow, couldn't have connected those
right.
together, right?
Shocking.
Right. But it was a very good show. Starts off by going through how a guy gets racially profiled and becomes very traumatized. And the main character is a guy that was about to make it mainstream as a cartoonist. Once he's racially profiled by the cops and becomes traumatized, he starts to see things from a different perspective. But what's interesting, though, the little spin-off to this is, since he's an artist, the inanimate objects that he draws starts to come to life, right? And he's starting to have conversations with those inanimate objects, right? So he can have like a spoon or a toaster or trash can talking to him like, hey, you gonna let that slide? Like, and it's just really, really funny. Yeah, I'll definitely recommend that show to watch. You can catch it on Hulu. Definitely a very light watch. 2 seasons out right now. I hope they do a third. And unfortunately, we just found that Woke just got canceled. Oh, not just got canceled, but Woke has been canceled. But the 2 seasons out right now are really good, and yeah, you guys should definitely check that out too. What's the next episode that you guys can expect from us?
Let me think about that. Give me a minute. I got it.
What is it?
I got the tune.
What's the tune? You got a tune for us.
I got a tune for you. Our next show is gonna be Succession. I think some people know about the show, but
some people.
I know a lot of people.
I think the awards say otherwise. Well, they got nominated for how many awards now?
A ton.
Too many,
a ton.
right? So
a zillion,
yeah,
right?
It's definitely a good one. You guys should definitely stay tuned for that one.
Right, it's real deep. So, anywho, that's our show for today. Don't forget to follow us, rate us, and share this podcast. And follow us on social media handles on Instagram and Twitter. Till the next one, peace.
All right, bye guys.